Hi, how you doing? It's Jeff Sinker again from SkyGuitarLessonsOnline.com. Great to see you all again. This lesson we are going to go back and look at Steely Dan, and we're going to be covering the song Josie from the Asia album. One of the finest albums I have ever heard. Really inspired me when I was young, and it still does. If you haven't heard it, you need to check it out. We are going to be looking at the intro, which I've just done. We're going to go through the rhythms, the verses, and we're going to look at the bridge. And of course, we're going to look at the guitar solo, which was actually played by Walter Becker. Larry Carlton was the guitarist in this recording, but he only did the rhythm guitar. So he only did the guitar. But the solo itself was played by Walter Becker. So we're going to be looking at all of the sections for you in this song. So you know the score, don't go away.
Preview.
So let's get right into it. Opens up with this little line here. So we're going to start off on D2, going across to B3. And we move up to the D string 4th fret, and we're going to play this F5 chord. So we're playing 4 and 6 on the G string. So then we go down to this E flat 5 chord on the same string, up to an E5. And we go back to the 2nd fret on D string, to the 3rd fret on the B, to that F sharp 5 chord, back to the E flat. Then we move to the A string and we play a B5, to a D5, same strings. Now we've got this run. So we're going to start off on D2, crossing over to G2, to G1. And we're going to slide up to D5, go down to the D4, and then roll your first finger to G4. So we get... Now we've got this wonderful series of chords, again typical of Steely Dan, combining kind of piano style chords but on the guitar. They're just wonderful. We have this first one, beautiful sound. Different ways you can see this one. You can see it with as a C with an F in the bass. So what I'm doing here, I'm putting my 3rd finger on 3rd fret, which is your F, so 3rd fret on the D, open G string, 1st fret on the B string, open E. Then we have an F sharp 9th, F sharp sharper 9th. So what I'm doing there, I've got a double stop on 5 and 5 on the E and the B, and I'm playing with my 2nd finger D4, and my 1st finger plays G3. So we get this. And the next chord, that is a D with a G in the bass. So again, I'm playing a flat bar across 2nd fret, and I'm creating the D chord shape with my 3rd finger on B3, and my little finger is playing the G, which is on 5th fret on the D string. And then the final chord, which is an A flat major 13th. Where we play that, I use my bar across here. I know some people just, because you're going to play that note there, 3rd fret on the high E string, but you have got 3rd finger on 6th fret on the D, second finger is on 5th fret on the G. You've got little finger on 6th fret on the B string, and just stretching that first finger down. That's why I like to play it with my flat bar, to that 3rd fret on the high E. And you just let that ring out. There's a little trill with the Rhodes from Donald Fagen, and then we pick up the main rhythm section. Now, the main part of this rhythm section where Larry Carlton kicks in is just over an E minor 7 chord, played up here on 7th fret. So I've got my bar down here on 7th fret, and I'm playing an E minor 7 chord. So I've got second finger on B8, and I've got my 3rd finger on D9. Now he does on the first one, he just plays the E. That's your main rhythm. Now, over the years, I've seen various videos of Larry Carlton, because he loves to play this as part of his live set. He plays an instrumental version over this, but starts off with the chords. One of the things he likes to do is shift these chords around slightly. Doesn't do it on the original, only on the new stuff that he's been working on. But you get this. So he does like to move that around. Now, it's Larry Carlton played on this, so I'm sure he's just quite happy to change that. But on the original recording, he sits firmly on this E minor 7 chord. So that takes you through the first part of the song and then into the main verse. Now, through the main verse, we are playing that E minor 7, and then we move into these wonderful Steely Dan type chords that he plays. What he likes to do is to play a standard chord, but he likes to change the bass note. And I'm sure you, if you're a Steely Dan fan, you know what he used to call the moo-moo chord, which is a major chord with the 2nd in the bass. Again, wonderful chords. What he's doing on this, in this song, he will take a major chord, but he will bring in the 5th. So what I've got here, he's playing a major chord. He's just going down from an A, G, but he brings the D in the bass. So we get this. So I'm playing 5 on the A, so I've got that D chord there, and then I'm playing 7 on the D, I'm playing 6 on the G, and then I'm playing through 5 and 5 on the B and the E string. So I've got this major chord, but I've got this D note in the bass. And he moves through that down to, does the same thing on the G, so we get the C in the bass. So we've got an A with a D in the bass, and a G with a C in the bass. And then he takes that whole concept idea again, and we're going to take this D chord, but what we're going to do, we're going to drop in this, we got this D chord, but we're going to drop in the G in the bass. So I'm playing here, first finger is on the 5th fret, I'm playing G7, B7, and E5. And I move down 2 frets and I play this C with this F in the bass. So I get this break. And he goes back to the E minor. Plays 2 bars of that. Then we pick up an A7 dominant chord. Then we go to this G with the C in the bass. And then back to this D with the G. Going down to the C. So we would get this movement. So we've got two different changes so far, and the way I've marked them up on the tablet here is I call it guitar break 1, guitar break 2. So your first one is that. Second one after the A7. Back to the E minor. So let's move towards the chorus section. We've got one more bar of this E minor 7. So I'll just play this bit through and then I'll break it down what I'm doing. So we've got an E minor 7. Then I'm going to go down to this D chord with the G in the bass. To the C with the F in the bass. Back to the E minor 7. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to play through the chord sequence because there's quite a lot of chord movements going on here. So play it through and then I'll break it down. So what are we doing there? As I said, an awful lot of chord movement there. So it approaches from this E minor 7. So as soon as we came out of that, we get one bar of E minor 7. Then we do an E minor 7 to a C with the F in the bass, which is the same chord as them playing there. So we've got the C with the F in the bass. Then we have got an F sharp 7 with a sharper 9, the old Hendrix chord. Then we move down to a B minor, so a B7 with a flat 9. Then we go back to an E minor 7 again, C with the F in the bass. Back to the F sharp, sharper 9, to the B7 flat 9, an E minor 7, then we've got this an A9, then we have an A minor 7, to a D9, to a G major 7, C major 7, back to the F sharp 7 sharpened 9, to a B7 sharpened 9. Then we go back to a verse. Now, as you saw, I've included all the chord diagrams for that chorus change because there is quite a few. And just breaking it down bit by bit on the video, I thought it'd just be easier just to have the chords posted there. And also, I will have a full chord sheet that you can download to go through all of these chords. Now we are going to look at the bridge section. So in the bridge, there are two sections to look at. We're going to play kind of both guitar lines. So let's just do the main beat guitar that's playing the main rhythm. I'll just play it through and then I'll quickly break it down. Okay, what are we doing now? Well, we're going to start off on a D5 and we're going to go to D7 and then we move down and we're going to play A5, A7, back to D5, repeat that another time. Next time round, same thing. And then we do 5, 7 and then we repeat. Count the rest of the bar out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. So that's the main rhythm. Now, over the top of that, we have another guitar. So let's look at that. So over the groove that we've just looked at, we have this line. What we're playing there, we have got 9 on the E and 10 on the B, sliding up to 10 on the E and 12 on the B. And then we go down, so we play the same 10, 12 to 9, 8, and then we're going to play 7, 8. Then we repeat the same thing again. Then we got this double stop on 10 to 17, and then repeat that 9, 10 going up to 10, 12. Then we join in with the F sharp, sharp and 9, back to the B7 sharp and 9. Now we're going to look at the guitar solo. So we start off the solo with a full tone bend on 13 on the B. Then we got another full tone bend on the B, across to 12 on the high E, 14 fret half tone bend, back down to 14, 12 on the E, to 15 on the B, back to 15. So we get this. So we start off the line with full tone bend on 13B, and then we've got another full tone bend 13 on the B, going to 12 on the high E, half tone bend on 14 on the E, back to 14 on the E, to 12 on the E, 15 on the B, to 12 on the high E, so we start the solo off with a full tone bend on the high E. Then we got another one to 12 on the high on the E. Half tone bend 14 on the E. Back to 14. 12 on the E. 12 on the high E. So let's look at the first lick. I'll play it through and then I'll break it down. So we start on 13 with a full tone bend on B string. Another full tone bend 13B. 12 on the high E. Half tone bend on 14E. Back to 14. 12 on the E. 15 on B, 12 on the E, and 2 on 12B. Next phrase. So we do 15B, 12D, 14B, 13D, 12 on the G, to 14D. Then we go back to 14 on the G, 15B, 12 on the high E, back to 15 on the B. Next phrase. So we do a 12 on the high E, 15 on the B, 14 on the B, 12 on the high E. Then we got this little double stop. We're doing 14 G, 14 B to 12 B to 14 on the D string. So next line. So we're playing 9 on the G to 12 on the G. Then we're going to go 10 B, sliding up to 12, 13 on the B, pull off. Then we've got this little run up, a chromatic run. We're going to do 12, 13, and then 14 on the B with a half tone bend. So we get next line. So we're just doing a double stop on 15 on B and the E, 2 on the 12, and then we've got this line that is going, which is 15, 12, 15 with a full tone bend. Next line. So what I'm doing now, I'm sliding it into 16 on the G to 15 on the B, then I go back to 14 on the G, back to the 15, so, and then I do 15 on the B to 14 on the E to 17 on the B, and then 15 on the high E. Next line. Takes us to the finish. So what am I doing there? I've got a full tone bend on 17 on the high E. That little line there, we're doing a full tone bend, pulling off to 15 on the B, finishing on 17. So the first one is just a full tone bend. Go down to 14 on the high E, and we do a half tone bend, release, pulling off to the 12. 15 on the B, and then 2 12s on the E. So again. And then to finish it off, we got 14 on the G, 15 on the B, 12 on the G. So out of the solo, then we go back into the chorus line, which is that. You play that through, and of course finishing with the F sharp 7, sharp 9. Then it goes back to the intro. Plays through them wonderful chords again. And then back to and that plays out to the end of the song. Now there are some parts where Walter Becker goes back and does some soloing and just enjoys himself. If you hear him on the live versions, he really just kind of plays whatever he feels. I've seen numerous live versions and I haven't heard one of them solos played the same. They're incredible, but they're all different. Just really depends on the mood of Walter Becker at that time. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed looking at all of the sections of Josie. I am going to put the backing track that I have created for this. I'm going to put that up on my Patreon channel. And there you'll be able to go to the Patreon channel, which is all about improvisation. And I've got some backing tracks on there where people can use to practice their improvisation, and this is just a great song to play over, whether you're just playing the lead lines or just amusing yourself, because of all them little chord changes. It's great fun. If you want some more information on my Patreon channel, then there will be a link below. You'll be able to click on that and just see what things that we are looking at and trying to build up on that Patreon channel. Well, I am going to let you go. All the information that you do need for this song really is going to be down below on the links below. If you're new to this channel, this is your first experience and you do enjoy it, don't forget, click on that button. I'm sure you'll enjoy all future lessons that I'm posting up here. Well, that's me. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let you go. But until the next time, this is Jeff Sinker from SkypeGuitarLessonsOnline.com. Wishing you well. Look forward to seeing you all again soon. Until then, goodbye.